consultation from our local board, a very important part of Team Auckland, and I welcome to present this item, to start with Louise Mason, who's the General Manager of Local Board Services. Louise, over to you.
Kia ora, Madam Chair, and morena to committee members. I also have Renee Burgess with me as well too. So this report summarises the feedback received from local boards on the regional items proposed to be considered on for the Finance and Performance Committee. Local board chairs have been invited to workshops on F&P to consider these topics, and there have also been 5 briefings for all local board members so that they do have a full understanding of the topics. In summary, the report highlights that there's generally a high level of support for the areas to be considered, and these include the fees and charges proposals, various policies needing to be reviewed, the curbside refuse charging policy review, the domestic curbside food scraps collection and standardisation package and targeted rate. Now, as you know, all of the matters considered by local boards aren't able to be included in this report, but Attachment A covers the formal resolution. I'm now going to hand over to Renee, who will just cover some of the main highlights from those resolutions. Over to you, Renee.
Kia ora, thank you. Renee?
Kia ora koutou. I'll just run through the findings of the local board report. So local boards agreed both their local content and consultation on their and their feedback on the regional items proposed to be consulted on at their business meetings from 30 November to the 2nd of December. So all 16 local boards who gave feedback on fees and charges support the proposal for consultation. On the policies, all 16 of the boards who gave feedback support consultation on the proposal, on the proposed changes to the Māori land rates remission and postponement policy. 15, all of the 15 who gave feedback support the consultation on the proposed changes to the revenue and financing policy and the rates remission and postponement policy. Sorry, 14 of the 15 support the consultation on the proposed changes to the revenue and financing policy. One board stated there needed to be some more work to take place on this policy. Moving on to waste, for the curbside refuse charging policy review, all the local boards have previously provided feedback on this topic in their September 2021 business meetings, and this is provided in Attachment B to the curbside refuge charging policy review paper, also on this agenda today. Of those who gave feedback in this report, 13 out of 15 supported the proposal for consultation and 2 preferred to stick to the current status quo hybrid model. Of the 15th who gave feedback on their preferred method for charging, 8 local boards supported a rates funding model and 4 supported pay as you throw model, and 3 supported this, 2 supported the hybrid model. 14 out of 16 local boards who gave feedback on the domestic curbside food scraps collection, 14 out of 16 supported the proposal. 1 local board does not support due to affordability in their community and that it does not create incentives to use alternative ways of recycling food waste. And 1 board commented that there should be include an element of choice in the consultation. For the multi-unit developments with 10 or more resident dwellings, the multi-separate use or inhabited part of rating unit properties with 2 to 9 residential suites or non-residential properties, The majority of the boards support all 3 proposals for consultation. And for climate action, 18 out of the 19 local boards who gave feedback on the introduction of a climate action targeted rate support the proposal for the consultation. 14 of the 15 local boards who gave feedback support the 4 key principles used to develop the climate action package, and 10 out of the 11 local boards who gave feedback on whether the climate action will help support the outcomes and priorities of the local board stated that this will support these. Franklin Local Board does not support the proposal. The board considers there needs to be more balanced approach to the climate action targeted rate by introducing it for a set time to coincide with the completion of the City Rail Link and the introduction of congestion charging. Rodney Local Board also recommended a shorter 3-year period to allow for congestion charging. Both Rodney and Franklin Local Board stated the use of the target rate removes the use of this mechanism to deliver targeted outcomes at a local level to respond to local issues. Both Aotea, Great Barrier and Waiheke commented on the lack of inclusion of smaller rural and isolated communities in the package, and both Mangere, Otahuhu and Otara Papatoetoe local boards note that the 127 million of the climate package will be funded by new transport revenue over 10 years, and are concerned that that higher charges for the public transport will limit public transport uptake. And the last issue is the budget pressures. As this is a bit more of a complex issue with multiple levers, there was a less agreement about the use of the budget levers. Most local boards suggested a balanced use of the levers or supported the levers generally without providing feedback on specific levers. Should be noted that the Mayor's proposal detailing the government's recent announced 3 waters reform support package for councils was not taken into consideration for a lot of boards, as the availability of this was only identified in the Mayor's proposal and was not included in staff briefings provided to the local boards prior to their business meetings. Of the 8 local boards who gave feedback on higher than planned general rates increase, 4 local boards supported the use of this and 4 did not. Of the 8 local boards who gave feedback on reduced operating costs with associated impacts on service, one supported the use of this lever, 1 stated it was their least favourable option, and 3 suggested more information about possible cuts to service and local impacts is needed. And 1 board suggested that if there were to be cuts to services, an equity lens should be put on any reductions, particularly in the south and west. Of the 9 boards who gave feedback on the medium to long-term deferral of capital investment, 2 boards supported the use of this lever and 7 did not. And of the 11 boards who gave feedback on reviewing ownership of strategic assets, 3 boards supported consideration of this as a lever and 6 did not. 1 stated it was also their least favourable option, and 1 said they preferred not to sell assets. That is the summary. Thank you, Chair.
Ngā mihi ki koroa to both of you. I have a question for you, Renee, first up though, from the Deputy Chair, but before I ask him to ask you that question, I'm happy to move the recommendation, and Deputy Chair, will you second?
Delighted to, Chair, thanks.
Thank you. So over to you, Councillor Henderson, for your question.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Just a really quick question. I wanted to just clarify how many local boards wanted to swap the method that they were currently using in terms of curbside rubbish collection?
Sorry, I don't have that information at the moment, but the report on the curbside charging policy review does have does go deeper into that analysis. They provide that in full in their report later this morning.
Ah, cool. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions on the local board input to Renee?
Oh, Madam Chair, sorry.
Councillor Hills?
Sorry, didn't have time to write it. And just a quick question. I'm trying to find their minutes, but I had thought Kaipatiki had supported the change to rates funded for the curbside refuse, and it's just not listed in the resolution.
Yes, so the resolutions that I'm referencing are from their business meetings from the 30th of November to the 2nd of December. Kaipāriki did not comment on it in that meeting, but all local boards have provided feedback on the curbside refuge charging policy review, and this is on the paper later this morning, specifically on that review. They adopted their views at the September 2021 business meetings.
Okay, so that okay, that's not what is on the screen is not actually a resolution. It's just noting the errors. I just wondered, Madam Chair, with listing the local boards but not listing one that in a different part of the agenda actually said they did support the rates funded. Is that an issue, or should we just leave it?
I think this is the more general comment. I think, Richard, Councillor Hills, we might leave it until we actually get to the item. I think this is a omnibus of the collation of all the material, and there was a bit of a clarity or just a slight change. And
I can talk to the correction if you would like.
Yeah,
no, it's fine. It's fine if it's not relevant to the. I'm trying to confuse people now, so thank you. Sorry.
Yes, let's just leave it at that, I think. Is that all right, Richard? Councillor? Thank you. Any other questions? No questions. I have a comment from His Worship the Mayor.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Look, really good that 18 of the 19 boards have been supportive of our climate action targeted rate. I do notice that two of those that supported it, Mangari Otahuhu and Otara Papatoetoe, seem to have the perception that the 127 million of the $1 billion package would come from increased fares. It will come from increased fares, not because the fares have been ratcheted up, but because more people, an estimated, additional 15 million people or 15 million passenger trips will take place. And I just wanted to put that on the record, because I think maybe the boards had a perception that we were going to raise this money by jacking up fares, when actually we're raising the money by getting more people sitting on buses and using buses because they're convenient, accessible and frequent. So that's my brief comment. Thank you.
Thanks, Your Worship. Look, I've gone a bit out of order. I'm going to ask a question to Louise. Louise, I thought, although the resolutions are 18 out of the 21 local boards in support of the climate change targeted rate, were two local boards came back yesterday, didn't they, to say they supported it going out for consultation. Is that correct?
That's right, Madam Chair. We had Kaipāriki and Devonport Takapuna are happy for the proposal to go out for consultation. They did reiterate that obviously once consultation is back in, they would then look at that and consider their position, but they are happy for it to go to consultation.
Thanks for that clarification. Right, any more comments then? With no more comments, it's been moved and seconded that we consider this input when making our recommendations to the governing body. So I will take this to the vote. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Unanimously carried. Thank you. Now we move on to item 9, the